Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's video? We have for you Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican representative, who, and a lot of people have been scoffing at this, but I'm saying finally, the Democrats and the left in general need to understand that in life they are going to have to be held to the same standard they want Republicans held to. Now, she's going to be introducing, a day after Biden's inauguration, she's going to be introducing articles of impeachment against Biden, and it's about time. You all know why. I don't need to tell you why, but this guy will look you straight in the eye. This is Biden. He'll look you straight in the eye and wax lyrical about the sanctity of democracy after everything that's happened. They've just voted to do Trump again, the second time. They've spent 7 months going backwards and forwards, denying you $600 of your own money in stimulus checks, whilst they've been getting paid themselves via your tax money. Yet it took them 7 hours to impeach Trump again. You know, like ordinary bread and butter issues like bringing jobs back and healthcare and interest rates remaining stable. That doesn't seem to bother the Democrats. They don't seem to be interested in it. They are hyper-focused on Trump because he is an existential threat to the swamp. They want him gone so they can continue with their good old boys club, which is what they had before, which is what Donald Trump threw a spanner in the works into. So we're going to have a look at Marjorie Greene here. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we're going to see what she has to say and where this is going to go. But if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and share this video around. That's more important now than ever because YouTube is unfortunately sectioning off independent commentary channels. Okay, let's go.
Though you have something pressing, something important, and something new you'd like to share with everybody.
Yes, I would like to announce on behalf of the American people, we have to make sure that our leaders are held accountable. We cannot have a president of the United States that is willing to abuse the power of the office of the presidency and be easily bought off by foreign governments, foreign Chinese energy companies, Ukrainian energy companies. So on January 21st, I will be filing articles of impeachment on Joe Biden. Good.
Now you have these people who, the conservatives, not only just rhinos, but I mean conservative commentators like Ian Cheong, who I think is okay. I like his takes. I follow him on social media. I think he's okay, but he looks at this with derision. He thinks, oh, this won't help. Well, what he seems to be advocating for is the age-old adage of conservatives losing with grace, which is what conservatives are expected to do. Republicans, the way politics, mainstream politics goes is that the Democrat or the left-wing government in any Western country is expected to win. And when they win, they will push through radical reform without a question being thrown at them by the mainstream media because they're on the same team. And then Republicans or conservative people in whichever party of whichever Western country are expected to lose with grace. And when conservatives refuse to lose with grace and grow fat on their government opposition salaries, then the left or the ruling Democrat Party in the United States, they get angry, they get uppity. They think, well, hang on a minute, you're a conservative, you're supposed to lose with grace. Now, they have impeached Trump twice. Now, they've made a mockery, a shambolic mockery of the impeachment process. How the hell? It's meant to be high crimes and misdemeanors. How can you do that to a sitting president in 7 hours? 7 hours, and it's taken them 7 months to give you $600 of your own money through a stimulus bill. Yet it can take them 7 hours to impeach a president. And I agree with what Marjorie Taylor Greene's doing because they need to be shown that they are going to be held to the same standard. Stop losing with grace.
Wow. Articles of impeachment on Joe Biden on his first full day as president. I'm looking at Hunter Biden right now, so we're talking about Joe. Obviously, we know Hunter's got issues as well. How is that going to work? You are a freshman. You're in the minority. What will happen next? Is this...
Sorry to interrupt. I was going to let it all play, but there's something I want to say. There's an old saying here. It goes back to about 900 years ago. In fact, William Wallace's day, when the Scottish rebels were rebelling against English rule. They were saying about, this is in the very early days, before William Wallace and Robert the Bruce had their astounding victories in the north of England and in the Scottish lowlands. But back then, in the earliest days, the Scottish leaders and the nobles were saying, look, we can't beat them, the English. To which one person said, you don't have to beat them, you just have to fight them. And that's what, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene gets that. I think she understands what I mean. And by fight, I don't mean doing all of that stuff that they did in the Capitol on that day, because that doesn't help us. Fighting doesn't have to mean that. There's many different ways you can do battle.
Symbolic, or can you really do something about this?
Well, like I said, I'm a big believer in having people in office that are actually willing to do the job. And I can't imagine people in this country being so fearful of a future of a Biden presidency that they may be willing to commit violence like they did in the Capitol here in Washington, D.C. We cannot have that. I do not condone that violence.
Agreed. Now, the reason why they did that is because it's got nothing to do with Trump inciting anything. Right? This is the thing the Democrats don't understand. It's their actions that have made people behave in ways that I don't agree with, that she doesn't agree with, that most people who are even there in DC didn't agree with. There's only a tiny minority of people who did that action. Because as I said earlier about you don't have to win, you just have to fight them. There's many different ways to do battle, okay? And human beings, when they compete at their best, it's not with their strong arm, it's not with their arm, it's with their mind. Use your mind. Don't pick up a club and go and break something, a wooden club or whatever. Use your mind. What she's doing here is a good first step. It shows other people that it's okay to hold Democrats to the same standard that they hold Republicans.
The American people need hope. They need to know that there are Republicans in Congress that are willing to stand up and fight for them,
yes,
regardless of being in a minority,
yes,
regardless of having all odds against us, against me, or against anyone in Congress. We have to hold people accountable. Joe Biden is on record on the phone saying that he would withhold $1 billion of foreign aid if he didn't get his way with these deals with his son Hunter. And there's an ongoing investigation.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Not only that, he was on stage bragging about it, and all of the people there were lapping it up. Don't expect any mainstream media to ever ask him about that. He's on film. Not only that, when it comes to Hunter Biden and the Burisma stuff, I couldn't show you, right? When the content of that laptop was uploaded, I got it off of a Chinese Twitter account. I couldn't show you on this channel some of those photos of Hunter Biden and the position he was in, and I mean position in that type of way, if you understand what I mean. I couldn't show you it. I couldn't show you it. Imagine if that had been Don Jr. Imagine if that had been Don Jr.
With Hunter Biden's laptop into being bought and paid for by communist Chinese energy companies. This is a dangerous threat to our country when we have a man that will be holding the power of the presidency, but will so easily and is on record for abusing power.
And there you had Representative Womixin Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I want to finish with this. Now, for a long time, people that pointed the finger at us independent commentary channel people, called us kooks and all of this stuff. Yeah, funnily enough, a lot of the stuff we've been saying, and that's us on the saner side. I'm not talking about the really far out there people. I'm on about just ordinary commentators who happen to have an opinion that goes against the grain of the mainstream media. Now, there's thousands of examples I could use, but this ties into what I'm talking about. Now, this is a woman who has now been actually arrested. She's been arrested for rigging things.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm getting paid to do. My people are undercover because some of them are Republicans, some of them are Democrats. So some of my Republicans are precinct chairs that cannot be known because they could get kicked out, but they want to help the Biden.
For the entire team that I'm looking at $55,000.
So $55,000 for 5,000 most confident in eager Biden.
That's right.
Cash.
Did you ever wonder where all that money was going? Did you ever wonder? Project Blue and the likes. Do you know how much money they got given, funneled to them through the likes of Black Lives Matter? Billions of pounds from non-profit organisations, independent wealthy people, a big business. These are the people that on the street, they rail against big business. They like to burn down these superstores and these big retail centres. And what do the retail centres do? They give them money. They give them money. Where have you ever wondered where all that money goes? You've just seen it yourself. $55,000 for 5,000 votes, and there's been a lot of that going on. This woman has been arrested yesterday in Texas. She was arrested. So listen, who's the kooks now? I mean, honestly, I look at the mainstream media and I've reached a point where whenever they say something, I think the opposite, and it's gotten so bad. Now, if the mainstream media, if a CNN talking head like Jake Tapper told me today that the sky is blue, I would think the sky is green. If they told me the grass is green, I would think the grass is blue. They're the ones. They think they can give people the news. Yet they're never right on anything. They are never right on anything. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this rant of mine. I apologise, but I am a little bit worked up. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and share this video around. That will help me stay competitive with the likes of CNN and MSNBC. There's a share button down there. Only takes a couple of minutes. And that really helps us out because we are struggling to grow in this climate of clamping down on conservatives. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.